Look at that. He's making me cry.
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
Guess what? Nomad is arriving sooner than you might realize. Here's the scoop. At last year's Disney Investor Day, they dropped a bunch of news about upcoming Marvel movies and shows. Right after that, they trademarked the names for new shows like Ironheart, I Am Groot, and Secret Invasion. We've already seen 2 of them, and the third is on the way. But get this, they also trademark one for a project they haven't announced yet, Marvel Studios' Nomad. There were plenty of guesses floating around about what Marvel Studios' Nomad could be, a potential movie or perhaps an unannounced Disney Plus show. Given the timing, it was kind of like how Book of Boba Fett was all set to go but kept under wraps for a bit. Some folks speculated they might have delayed the announcement. The closest thing we've seen to Nomad in the movies was Steve Rogers in Infinity War. So when Variety reported that Chris Evans was back for another MCU flick, everyone started thinking maybe it was related to that. But then, nothing. Complete silence. To make it trickier, there have been a few different Nomads in the comics, but none of them really stood out much beyond the original. Nomad has been a notable identity in Marvel Comics, first introduced by writer Steve Englehart and artist Sal Buscema as an alternate persona for the original Captain America Steve Rogers in Captain America No. 180. The concept was later revised by writer J.M. DeMatteis, who assigned the identity to various characters. 1. Edward Ferbel briefly assumed the role in Captain America No. 261 to 263, but then died like 3 chapters later. 2. Jack Monroe, also known as the villainous Bucky, became the most recognized Nomad in Captain America No. 282 and is the best one. 3. Rikki Barnes and Ian Rogers, Steve Rogers' adopted son, have also taken up the Nomad mantle at different points in the comics. Each of these characters brought their own interpretation to the Nomad persona, contributing to its legacy within Marvel's universe, but the Jack Monroe version is, in my opinion, the best. Given that Jack Monroe is the most prominently known Nomad, some speculated whether this role might have been intended for characters like Bucky or John Walker after their appearances in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. However, with Walker now established as U.S. agent and Bucky likely involved in Cap 4, the situation became less clear. Looking ahead to Disney Plus Day, where announcements are expected, what could Marvel Studios' Nomad possibly be? 1. Prequel with Chris Evans returning. Some wonder if this could involve Chris Evans reprising his role, possibly tied to a project like the one the Russo brothers are rumored to be considering. 2. A Bucky spin-off series. There's also speculation about a series focusing on Bucky, exploring new aspects of his character separate from his previous roles. 3. A whole other unrelated thing. Of course, it could be something completely unexpected, introducing a new character or storyline altogether. As fans eagerly await more details, the speculation continues until the big reveal on Disney Plus Day. While many are hoping for Chris Evans to return as Nomad, personally, I'm rooting for something entirely new and unrelated. I'd love to see a fresh story introducing a new character to the MCU, specifically Jack Monroe, the third and best Nomad. It could bring a whole new dimension to Marvel's storytelling universe. Jack Monroe's backstory is quite convoluted. Originally introduced as Bucky in Captain America comics from the 1950s, his origin was later retconned. It turned out he wasn't the original Bucky who fought alongside Captain America during World War II. Instead, he and another man took on those identities as part of a government program aimed at countering communism. They even injected themselves with a version of the super soldier serum to gain powers similar to Captain America's, but it had unintended side effects, leading them to become unstable. This confusion about his origins means some sources consider his first appearance to be in a 1950s Captain America comic, though he didn't become Jack Monroe until much later. Over the years, he went through various identities and alliances, sometimes as a partner to Captain America himself. His story is marked by twists and turns, including periods of suspended animation and even brainwashing. Jack Monroe's journey in the Marvel Universe is quite a ride. Originally the partner of William Burnside, who took on the identity of Captain America in the 1950s, Monroe later joined him as Bucky. After being frozen in suspended animation, they were awakened decades later with twisted beliefs, attempting to harm the real Captain America and Falcon. Eventually, they were captured and frozen again. Later, Burnside was revived and manipulated into becoming the Grand Director by Dr. Faustus. Under Faustus's influence, Burnside tragically shot Monroe, although it was revealed the gun was loaded with blanks. Monroe, seemingly cured of his past psychosis under S.H.I.E.L.D.'s care, sought redemption alongside Steve Rogers. Adopting the Nomad persona, Monroe battled foes like the terrorist Viper and eventually became Captain America's partner. His journey included confronting adversaries like the Red Skull and the deranged Madcap before ultimately deciding to part ways with Captain America. Nomad's journey continued with several twists and turns in the Marvel Comics saga. After acquiring a new costume, he teamed up with Captain America to take down the criminal empire of the Slug. Later, when Steve Rogers lost the Captain America mantle, Nomad joined him, along with other former partners like Demolition Man and Falcon, under the moniker The Captain. This team also included Nomad's girlfriend at the time, Vagabond, and tensions arose, particularly between Nomad and Demolition Man due to their conflicting personalities and a perceived attraction between Vagabond and Demolition Man. Nomad found himself embroiled in battles against adversaries like Vibro and the terrorist Viper, facing imprisonment by the Commission on Superhuman Activities. During a critical moment, Nomad chose to leave captivity with Sidewinder and Diamondback, which led to the end of his relationship with Vagabond. The strain continued when Captain America sought Nomad's assistance, only to find him drowning his sorrows in a bar. Their disagreement over Rogers' decision to surrender to the Commission marked a bitter parting between the two heroes. After going solo once more, Nomad embarked on a crusade against drug dealer Umberto Cefilos. Monroe eventually abandoned his spandex costume to become an urban vigilante. In a controversial move, he rescued an infant girl named Bucky from her drug-addicted mother, drawing scrutiny from the Commission on Superhuman Activities. This led to a confrontation with Steve Rogers, now back as Captain America, who was sent to apprehend Nomad. In a heated firefight, Nomad defeated Cephalios and took drastic measures against drug dealers and even government officials. Nomad's path diverged further as he traveled across the country, tackling societal issues such as AIDS, homelessness, and hate crimes, areas typically beyond the scope of traditional superheroes. During an extended stay in Los Angeles, he loosely affiliated himself with the Undergrounders, a network of people who supported each other in times of need. This connection provided Nomad with trusted caregivers for Bucky, though many believed Nomad's own life remained perilous. Throughout this period, Nomad underwent significant personal growth, shedding much of his abrasive and self-destructive tendencies to become more empathetic and laid back. However, he faced a sobering realization that both he and Bucky might be at risk for HIV due to their circumstances. They underwent testing, but the outcome was never disclosed, leaving their health uncertain. Nomad's adventures continued to be filled with twists and intense collaborations within the Marvel Comics universe. He teamed up with the Punisher and Daredevil to take on a coalition of criminal organizations, showcasing his willingness to work alongside even the most unconventional allies. Nomad's storyline was marked by its complexity and depth, illustrating his evolution from a troubled vigilante to a hero entangled in a web of moral dilemmas and personal tragedies within the Marvel Comics universe, which, in my opinion, would translate into a great story for the MCU. Well, that wraps up today. What do you think about Nomad's potential debut in the MCU? Are you hoping to see a faithful adaptation of Jack Monroe's story, or would you prefer a fresh take on the Nomad character or Steve Rogers' version? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all things Marvel and more. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep enjoying those superhero adventures.